Good morning. Happy Monday morning to you today. Today is Monday, June 28th. And as you know, on Mondays, we talk about confidence building tips and we talk about ways to be more confident at work, ways that we can enhance our own performance and take ownership of our careers. I am Coach Duquesa Dean, and I'm privileged to be here this morning to talk to you today about 4 tips to use when working for bad bosses. But what is a bad boss? And for many of us, we may have had interactions with bosses that had quite a number of characteristic traits that made us label them bad. They may have been micromanaging us. They may have had poor communication skills. They may have been people who spoke at us with a condescending tone. May have been bosses who were unprepared and not as knowledgeable as we were. They may have been bosses who were more concerned with their own security versus making sure that we're mentored and have all the information that we need. Poor bosses are people that don't give us opportunity for advancement. And I mean, I can just go on and on and on. The John Maxwell principles really talk about connectors and how those who are low at connecting have a low ability to influence other people because leadership is influence, nothing more and nothing less. But if you've worked for a boss that you would say was a bad boss, I invite you to drop a few comments below our video and share some of the attributes or characteristics that made you label this person bad. I've been in this situation before. I'm so grateful to be able to say that I've worked with some amazing bosses. I've had some bosses that mentored me, that saw potential and helped to bring that potential out, that gave me opportunities for growth, that helped me to be promoted through the ranks of organizations. And then I've had the flip of that. I've had bosses who were just difficult to deal with. They micromanaged. They didn't have any trust in me. Sometimes it felt competitive. It was just a real toxic situation. And I can clearly and vividly remember one of my former bosses who was a female. And I can remember every day for a complete year, I sat on the edge of my bed and talked myself into going to work. I'd get up in the morning, happy getting up, and then realize, oh my gosh, I have to go and deal with this person. And I sit on my bed and have a morning pep talk with myself. I'd remind myself about all the reasons, which included paying my mortgage, paying my kids' college fees, paying for the air condition to be on, for food, for travel. I reminded myself of all of the things that I did with the funds that I was paid from this job. And that's the thing that we have to remember. We have to remember the what's in it for me principle. And the what's in it for me principle really is, as a result of having this job, I'm able to take care of all of these responsibilities. But staying in a toxic job is also not healthy. And so if you're working for a bad boss, I want to ask you to take some time to consider if your boss is really bad, or if it's the environment that's creating some issues for your boss to be more effective, and to take ownership of your life and your career to determine if that is the best place for you and the best boss for you to be working for. But I want to give you 4 tips today to help you work with a boss that you've labeled bad. The first tip I want to share with you this morning is don't let it mess with your head. That's the very first thing I'm going to encourage you to do. I want to encourage you to not allow your boss's behavior to mess with your head. Don't let it make you feel that you're any less. Don't take it on. Just let it slide off your back. Like if you've identified that this person has these poor traits, poor communication traits, poor leadership traits, they don't know how to speak to people. If they're doing it to more than just you, don't take it personal and don't allow it to mess with your head. The second thing I want to encourage you to do is to make sure that you communicate to stay ahead of the game. Communicating with the people that we report to is one of the ways that we also safeguard ourselves. And this could be through spoken communication or written communication, where we provide updates, we give information, we provide as much information as we possibly can on the projects or the task that we've been assigned to do to keep our bosses updated on what it is that we're doing. I want to encourage you as you communicate, though, to choose your words carefully. And when interacting with a bad boss who doesn't communicate well, I'd also encourage you to make sure that you ask clarifying questions. So what I heard you say was, okay, from our conversation, this is what I am supposed to do, so that you're actually doing what is being asked of you and not your perception of what has been communicated to you. Because if somebody speaks to us, it doesn't mean that what they say is what they actually mean. And as crazy as it sounds, how many times have you been in a situation where you did something and you went back to say, hey, this is done, and their boss or your friend or your significant other said to you, but why did you do that? So there's always a possibility of misunderstanding and communication. So I'd encourage you to ask clarifying questions and to choose your words very carefully as you communicate. I want to also encourage you to identify the triggers that cause your boss to act out. And you might be saying, I don't want to do that. I don't want to take responsibility for that. And I want to encourage you to do so, to own this process and to look at what triggers your boss. What are the situations that create your boss lashing out or shutting down or not being inclusive? So if you can identify what those triggers are, you now have a trump card. You now have an upper hand on the situation so that you can avoid those situations and help to eliminate those situations in your interactions with your boss. The third thing I want to encourage you to do is to support your boss by making him or her look good. I know this is a hard one because you don't like what's happening. You don't like your boss. You don't like the way that he or she is treating you. And now I'm here saying to you to work hard to make your boss look good. Yes, I'm going to encourage you to do that. I'm going to encourage you to over deliver. I'm going to encourage you to help your boss look good. If he is a person or she's a person that's not always prepared, help them to be prepared. When you're in meetings together, make your boss look good. While you're doing this, you're doing this to start to build a relationship, and your boss could then begin to look at you as an indispensable employee. Now, there truly is no indispensable employee, but there are some employees that organizations think 2 and 3 times before they release in downsizing exercises because these employees are so valuable to the organization. That's what I want to encourage you to become. Become so valuable to the organization that your boss sees you as an asset. He or she understands that with you, life is easier. They look good, they get more done, and you become a secret weapon for your boss by doing that, and he or she will work to keep you employed even in times when the company is considering downsizing. You may also be surprised at how that shifts the relationship. Your boss will see you differently. It may open the door for better communication, better opportunities for you. And so you have to always remember that you're working for you. You're working to increase your personal brand. You're working to put your stamp on the organization. You're working to show your worth and your value, and that will follow you wherever you go. So support your boss by making your boss look good. And the fourth and final thing I'm going to ask you to consider, because I always encourage my clients to be introspective, and that is to really ask yourself the question, is your boss really bad, or does your performance need to lift? I want you to ponder that question. Are you one of the reasons that's creating a situation for your boss that's causing him to act a certain way towards you or causing her to act a certain way toward you? Can you improve your performance? Are you doing what you are supposed to be doing? Are you delivering? Do you have the right attitude? Always become introspective and look at how you are a part of the situation and how you can become a part of the solution. Every relationship requires more than one person. So, what role are you playing in this relationship? Above all, as I close today's tip, our Monday tip on creating confidence at work, above all, when we work for difficult bosses, I want to encourage you to remember the what's in it for me principle. Why am I in this job? Why am I doing what I am doing? And let that fuel you until you can elevate to another position or shift to another position, because it's not always about elevation. It could also be about a lateral move to a better department, a better boss, Or it could very well be where you leave that organization and go into a better organization and to deal with a better boss. Until that time, don't let your boss mess with your head. Communicate to stay ahead of the game. Support your boss by making your boss look good. And then really consider how you're contributing to the situation. So that's what I have for you today. Happy Monday. Have a great week ahead. And hey, master the week. Be intentional about setting your goals for this week. Be intentional about every action that you take and make sure that those actions align with the overall vision for your life. Take care. God bless you.